Hi everyone, it is Carmen again for my second video for this page. I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about something called an MLM. And no, it's not one of those kinds of videos, it's one of those kinds of videos. And by that I mean, I really want to go over some of the problems with MLM. If you know me, you know I've been in a few. I have been involved with American Life Insurance Company, which got sued for treating its independent contractors like employees. I have been involved with Avon, Arbonne, and currently I'm with Young Living. And the first time I ever got introduced to an MLM was actually by a company called World Financial Group. I was young, did not have kids at the time, and I was kind of looking for a way to make some money. And my dad actually said, "Oh, this guy, he has this financial job." I'm like, "Okay, I'll go to this meeting and take a look." And so I went to this meeting, right? And there was this crowd of people there. I talked to this guy. He seemed really nice, kind of cute, and he told me a little bit about, that they're a financial organization and they're looking to hire people. And so I went, and they did a presentation. And during the presentation, they talked about how in retrospect, looking back, they were talking about how to build your downline, but at the time I had no idea what they were talking about because I'd never heard of anything like this. They were just talking about how you can help people. Like, the words they used were, you can help so many people by teaching them how to do finances and become their own bosses and all that kind of stuff. And then they got really excited and they started showing these presentations and everybody was like cheering and clapping. And I was just like, yeah, okay, sounds great. I was thinking of all the ways I could actually help people because I'm like, I like the idea of helping people. Eventually, that reason is why I became an insurance agent, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I was excited at the prospect of helping people. Although I had no financial experience. I was in theater. I was in college for theater at the time, theater and liberal arts. But yeah, I had no idea what it was. But it was weird. I was a little kind of off-put by everything because, I was getting excited because I like the idea of helping people, and they pinpointed on that. But what stopped me from ever joining this company was the interview after the presentation. The guy talked about it with me, and I was like, oh yeah, I like the idea of helping people. So like, what do we do, all that stuff. And he just kind of making general statements about how there's big opportunity to do finances and stuff. And then he's like, in order to get started, I just need your social security number. And I'm like, no, I was not gonna give my social. At that point, it felt like a scam. I'm like, you want me just to dictate my social security number to you, but you don't want me to fill out an application? So I was like, I have to think about it. Bye. And I never went back. And that was my introduction to what I would later figure out was network marketing. I had no idea what it was. I just never heard of this type of thing. It was weird. I told my dad about it later. Like, no. So cut forward a few years later, I was like, I need to make money. At this point, I had a little one, and I was living with my mom, had no money, and was basically living off just some child support. And I'm like, this is not going to cut it because the baby and I need to have money. And I put a Facebook post out. Basically, I was kind of looking for a job, and I was like, hey, people, I need a way to make money at home. Mind you, at this time, when I had this child, who's now 10, but at the time I had never heard of network marketing. So pay attention. I put on my Facebook that I need to make money, but I need to stay home. I don't want to spend time going to a job that's going to make me have to pay a ton of money in childcare and then end up with nothing at the end of it. I need a way to take care of my kid, and I need a way to earn some income so I can take care of my kid better. So my friend messaged me, and that's how it started, right? She messaged me about this company that she's with called Arbonne. and how it's this amazing income opportunity. And I'm like, I'm intrigued. I'm all ears. I need to make money. I was totally, you know, a little naive, totally open, and like, I need to make money. I'll just go ahead and learn about this. And I did. I went to a couple, like, I went to this coffee shop, my favorite coffee shop. I went to a one-on-one with her and a person who I guess sponsored her. I don't know. And we chatted, and I'm like, oh, this sounds great. So it's basically like sales, but I could do it at home. I'm like, okay, I think I can manage that. And at the same time, somebody from Avon, or I had looked into Avon. I don't know how I even looked into Avon. But someone reached out to me, or I reached out to them, and then I had a meeting with that person from Avon. So I started Avon and Arbonne at the same time. At first I was like, do I want to do one or do I want to do the other? And I'm like, I'll just do them both. What the hell, why not? So that was a bad idea, but I did them both because I was, you know, hey, I put a feeler out there. I wanted to make some money, and someone responded to me, and it was with this opportunity. Well, it turns out, cut, you know, a little bit later, you have to buy into it. Okay, you can buy the kit, business building supplies, whatever. I'm excited, yay! With both companies, you have to buy a kit, starter kit, or whatever they call it, and it costs money. So like, oh crap, do I have this money? I'm like, okay, fine. I know you have to invest a little in order to make a little back or make more back. So if this means I can do this, I'll do it. And I tried it. I became a consultant for Arbonne. I became a representative for Avon, the Avon lady. And turns out there were so many other Arbonne independent consultants and so many other Avon reps in the area. It's like recruiting was impossible. And you can't, with the exception of Avon, I still actually use Avon. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing Avon makeup right now because I actually love the makeup, and it's comparable in price to the drugstore stuff. Like, it's very similar in price to my favorite brands like Maybelline, Ulta, and all those brands. So I'm like, okay, it's really not that expensive. But no one wants to buy it because everybody wants to be a distributor, or if they want to be a distributor, they already are. So you can't sell it retail, and you can't sell it at all because there's no one to recruit. And I know it sounds like an excuse, but I'll get into that later. But anyway, I just did not have success with it. I did not have any success. And Arbonne was more difficult. I actually sold more of my stuff from Avon because more people wanted Avon than they wanted Arbonne. Nobody who was not a consultant heard about Arbonne, and everybody who I talked to about Arbonne was like, that's too expensive. And they're like, I don't really want to do the opportunity. But the Avon stuff, like, I just sold that a lot easier. A lot of it I kept though because I mostly bought it for myself. But the stuff that I wanted to sell, I sold at a loss, but still, I was able to get rid of my stock because everybody wants Avon. Everybody liked Avon better. So Avon wasn't as hard to sell, except you don't make money off of it. That's a whole nother story. But don't worry about that. Unlike Arbonne, Avon is one of the few you can just buy retail. You go on the website and make an account, not a customer account, but like a retail account where you're not signed up at all as a representative. Just, you can just buy things at retail price, and they assign you your closest. You can pick one of your closest distributors. Be like, your name looks familiar, I'll pick you. And that's exactly what I did. So now that's how I buy my Avon when I want to have my Avon makeup. That's just what I do. No way I'm going back to the business side of it, but I do like the makeup, so I'll just continue to use what I like, right? But Arbonne is another story. Arbonne was so expensive. I mean, more expensive than some of the stuff you could get at Nordstrom. Like, more expensive than that. Maybe not more expensive than some of the higher end brands, but I mean, I could get, full face of Christian Dior makeup for like $249 at the time versus like $300 for a full face of Arbonne makeup. I mean, it's just really expensive. And the other thing about it is that the quantities were smaller. So, you know, where $45 gets you a half ounce of foundation with one company, and this is not necessarily Arbonne, but you go to like a high-end company like Kevin Aucoin, which I love, but I haven't even afford their makeup. I'm like drooling over it, but I can't afford it right now. Or Dior, which I have used and I love, or Kat Von D. You know, you get a full ounce. You get more makeup for the same price that you would in MLM. But that's a different story, and I will come to that point a little bit later. In any case, after Avon Arbonne, like, okay, nope, done. Cut my losses, done. Then I'm like, later down the line, a couple years later, have another kid, kind of get married, and now like I need a job, you know. At this point I had worked a lot and I had gone to school, and I wanted to take a break from school when I got my degree, which I did. I took a break and wanted to work. I just wanted to get some money, you know, get some income before I went back to school, and found American Income Life Insurance Company through an ad. They advertised it like it was a job, and the job started out $45,000 a year. I'm like, I can handle that, right? I can do that. I can make a career out of this. And they talk to you about it as if it were a career. And then when I went to their interview session, they had it set up as a presentation first, just like World Financial Group. And I got there thinking it was going to be like an actual interview, and no, it was a presentation in this like old dilapidated rented out building somewhere in Mission Oaks. And I got there and like, this kind of has like that rally information like that World Financial Group did, and has a lot of like the lingo of Arbonne and Avon. This is weird. And it turns out it was another network marketing company. But I'm like, okay, it's licensed insurance. We're selling insurance. You know, maybe being a licensed, it goes back to my desire to help people. I can get people what they need. I believe in life insurance. I don't believe in health insurance, but I believe in life insurance, and I know it's important, and I can get licensed in this. Okay. All right, I'll give it a try. Become insurance agent. What the hell, why not? I need a job. And they made it sound like it was a job. So I did that. Got my license, did my hours, great, passed, did my test, and started selling, and sold nothing. I sold 2 policies with my upline, and one of them ended up canceling. So at the end of the day, I made less than like $400 for on a 12-hour day. I did the math. I'm like, that made $5 an hour. That's less than minimum wage for one day's work. Working 12 hours and having nothing to show for it. And I made that complaint to them, and they're like, but that's what an entrepreneur is. You start out small and you get bigger as you go. And I'm like, no, it's not how it works. I have a license. I should be able to use it. And then I started looking for, you know, I like bleep this. I told them flat out one weekend, I was by myself. Okay, this is how they made you work. You had to show up. That's why they got sued. You had to show up in order to work, right? You had to show up. I had to get permission to work from home, to make my calls from home. Then the primary days and times you needed to work were weeknights and weekends, because you need to drive door to door, going door knocking to sell insurance. I'm like, for Christ's sake, this is not what I signed up for. This is not what they told me it was going to be. And I'm like, no, you tell me it's not going to be sales, but it's sales. You tell me I can work from home, but I have to be in at a certain time. You tell me I'm going to have more freedom, but I have to work nights and weekends? When the hell am I going to see my family? So, was not happy. After 3 months of that nightmare, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Done. Got my check, which was late. I mean, they paid me late. Found out later they got sued and and got pack pay for that. But it was like everything the opposite they said it was going to be. I did learn something, and I walked away having a better understanding of life insurance and health insurance, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. After that, I'm like this. I don't want any more network marketing companies. This is bull. I don't want to see any more of these. I was like, done with them. Done. Well, cut to 2015. I was at work at the same job I've been in since I was 16. I've been on and on with this job, but I love this place. Love the people. They're like my second family. Been going there, teaching gymnastics since I was taking gymnastics since I was 14, teaching since I was 16, working since I was 16. Learned everything, my people skills there. Love this place. Was working when my friend, remember my dear friend who signed me up for Arbonne, told me about that opportunity, came in and was like, oh my gosh, I have these amazing products. Like, she did a pitch in the thing, and I love this person. I do, with all my heart. Love this person. But she did a pitch right there, and I'm like, oh. Now, I thought she was actually like showing us something that she found, like, oh my god, I found this amazing product, like, and you gotta try it, look it up. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. Essential oils, oh, they smell like heaven. They smell so good. I love these. What is it? What's this company? She's like, well, you know, she gave us the whole spiel, the whole thing. Oldest company in the world. It wasn't. The purest in the world. They're not. And like the best and only in the world. They're not. But sorry, I know this now. But at the time, I was like, I'm intrigued. I was already on from Arbonne. I was already on a journey towards more natural, botanically based skincare. So why the heck not? I mean, why not make my own, right? She told me about their health benefits. At the time, this was before Young Living got busted for making Ebola claims, or actually it was after the Ebola claims, but before anything was done about it in the company. So there was lots of talk about how it crosses the blood-brain barrier, a lot of talk about how no one's getting sick anymore, a lot of talk about how they're basically super products in the bottle. So I looked up the company. I'm like, I gotta look up this. I gotta get some more info. Maybe I'll buy some. And it was an MLM. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no. Not doing this. Not another MLM. I found a company local to me that was organic, and I bought their oils instead. I'm like, let's compare them, because, you know, I would rather just not deal with MLMs. But they were strong. Okay, right? The MLM pitch is strong. You know, these are the best. This is why you need to buy them. You don't know when running the risk that they're adulterated and all that other stuff. By the way, I love the oils that I got from my first company that's local to me. Love them. They were great quality. They compared just fine to the Young Living ones. But I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll give this company seems different. I was looking online. I looked at the compensation plan, looked at what they were doing. I was like, okay, this company seems to be different. Their compensation plan is more direct. It's more straightforward. You actually get paid. You know, you can actually get paid. You can actually see your money faster than you would with the other company. And it was a little bit more straightforward, a little easier. You know, at the time I was with Arbonne, we were told that Arbonne was the gold standard in compensation plan. Never got paid for that. But also, even though I put in a lot of work, didn't recruit anybody. No recruits, no money. It was easier to sign people up for Young Living. A lot easier, believe it or not. And so I did it, and I went on this whole, like, you can see my history from 2015 to about late last year. I was on this whole, like, train upswing of, like, yes, these oils are amazing. And I love essential oils. I don't want to say how many because I have a lot, but I have multiple brands. I have brands from Young Living. I have oils from several other companies. Acacia, now Plant Therapy. Organic Infusions was that first company. Young Living, Rocky Mountain, and Thrive Market. So I have a lot of company oils from different companies, and I love them all, and I use them mostly in the diffuser now, but I do use them topically. I'll put them in my homemade makeup because I love scented makeup, and I'll put them in my homemade skincare too, when I want a little extra smell good, botanical, or because they have health benefits. If you know how to research what those are, they can be very beneficial. So anyway, that's my story. 20 minutes later. Cut to today. I am over the MLMs. I am done. You don't make any money. And one of the things that you learn when you're in an MLM is that it's a business. You're an entrepreneur. It's a business. You're going to make so much money. You have an opportunity that no one else has, yada, yada, yada. What they don't tell you is that you need to spend a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of your own money investing in that opportunity before you'll ever see a return. They say that it has the cost to sign up is the startup cost, but that's a lie. The cost to start is the cost of this, whatever the starter kit is, plus the cost of all your marketing materials, plus the cost of all your advertising, or however it is you're marketing, right? You need, when you're counting costs, you need to count the actual hours you put in, okay? Because that is a cost, right? You're getting ready, you're putting in your hours to prep those materials. It's not just buying the materials, but it's the hours spent prepping them. And then you're using your gas to drive places, you're meeting people, you're helping them with their setups, you're doing whatever it is you need to do. So you need to count those costs too, and they don't count those costs, and they should. So when you think about starting an MLM, don't just look at the cost to buy the kit. Look at the cost to actually market those materials and products. One of the bigger problems is that it's not a business, right? If you think about it, you're an employee, an independent contractor. I've looked at like the compensation plans for It Works. I've looked at Amway. I've read the Amway case. I've looked at the compensation plans for Avon and Mary Kay and Arbonne and American Income Life, and they all basically call you an independent contractor. That's an employee status, okay? That's an employment status. You are not an employee of the company because that would mean they'd have to pay you hourly or salary and benefits, but you still work for the company. You don't own any stake in the business. Here's why it's not a business. You don't have control over it. You don't control the products. You have no idea what product they're selling until they tell you what product you're selling. You have no control over research or development. You have no control even how you market it. Like they'll tell you, you can't go to eBay. You can't drop shit through Amazon. You can't use any drop shipper. It has to come from you or the company directly. So you have no control over how you get your product out. Like, that's not a business. If I want to go to Etsy and make a product and sell it on Etsy, that's my prerogative. And that would make me a business owner. Etsy is a platform. eBay is a platform. Amazon is a platform. But an MLM is just an independent contractor who has to buy in order to get the job to market. So you have no control. What did I say? Work product. Yeah, you don't own the work product. You don't own the product at all. You don't even know what they're going to release or talk about or do at their convention. You have no control. You don't issue the paychecks. You get a paycheck. So when you work for an MLM as their marketer, you are working paycheck to paycheck. One of the big things they tell you is that you can fire your boss and not live paycheck to paycheck because you're an entrepreneur. No. When you work for an MLM, part-time or full-time, you are receiving a paycheck contingent upon your sales. and or the sales of people below you. That's what you're doing. You're not cutting a check to anybody. A quote that I've heard said is that Shaq is rich, but the guy who signs his check is wealthy. Think about that. Do you want to be rich or do you want to be wealthy? If you want to be an entrepreneur, then you want to be the one who's signing the checks. You don't want to be the one on the receiving end. Okay? Entrepreneurs sign their own damn checks. Excuse my language. MLMers earn the checks. Okay, so language manipulation, that's another thing. When I say language manipulation, just what I said with the income. You know, they call you an entrepreneur and a business owner, but the reality is you're not. It's just a way to entice you to come into the MLM to do their work for them. Other forms of income manipulation, like fake it till you make it principles, they will, you know, talk about how they're able to do vacations or buy cars or do whatever. And the reality is when people are interviewed, and you can look this up, but when people are interviewed, they're basically saying, oh yeah, I was living that lifestyle, but I was living off of credit cards. I was using my grocery money to buy the products, things like that. And MLMs will tell you to become a product of the product. How are you going to sell it if you're not using it, right? Valid point. Most people who are sales associates, you know, especially independent ones who own a territory, are products of the product. They wear it, they advertise it. It's called stealth advertising, by the way. But they wear it and they use it so they can market it. It's a valid form of marketing, right? But with MLMs, it gets extreme because now you're competing with other distributors, some that you signed up and some that you didn't, who are all trying to recruit from the same pool. And it's amazing how many people there are, and I'll get to that later, but they have to start showing you their lifestyles. I can now afford to do this. Well, how many years have you been saving for that, for one? Two, what's your significant other doing? And three, you know, are you really buying a brand new car or is it used? You know, things like that. Or is it new to you? You know, what is it you're not telling everybody? So the other thing is unsustainable long term. Just completely unsustainable long term. Think about it. One of the reasons I quit ultimately with Young Living, as much as I enjoyed the products, they were fine. I didn't hate them, but the quantities are small for the price. I can get more quantity for the same or cheaper price through Thrive Market, which is a grocery store. It's not associated with the Level Thrive MLM. Thrive Market is an online organic grocery store. It has nothing to do with MLM, period, thankfully. But they have discount groceries. It's like Costco for organic food. And I can get, like, instead of 8 ounce of pasta, I can get 12 or 14 ounce for a similar price as the Young Living version. Or I can go to specialty shops to get the product I want at a smaller price. Why am I going to pay more for less, right? It's the same with their makeup. That's why I haven't used it. I prefer, personally, makeup that is full coverage that I can use less of to get a sheer coverage than to use buildable foundations. I'm not going to pay a lot. It doesn't matter if it's MLM or non-MLM. I'm not going to pay a lot of money, especially at this point in my life, to have a buildable foundation. It's cakey and they're hard to maneuver. They're hard to work with. It's easier just to take a full coverage foundation or a medium coverage foundation and use a lighter hand to get a sheer coverage than it is to take a buildable foundation and try to get the layers of full coverage that you want. So, and you get more product anyway, and getting a full coverage and using less of it will last longer. I'd rather pay $32 for a full fluid ounce of Kat Von D foundation than $44 for 5 grams of sheer coverage mineral foundation. Mineral foundation is cheap, by the way. Minerals are cheap. You can get pigment minerals off Amazon that are pure pigments straight from the manufacturers for like $10 for a jar this big, this thick. Okay, I have like 2 pigments and they're 3 and they're cheap. Okay, cheap. Mica is not expensive. Okay, neither is kaolin clay, neither is bentonite clay. None of these ingredients are expensive. You can make a whole batch of your own mineral makeup for dirt cheap. Probably less than it costs for a full face of Young Living makeup. No, for sure, less than it costs for a full face of Young Living makeup. I mentioned the expenses after the cost. So another thing that people don't tell you when they're doing their MLM, because they have to keep face, they have to save face. They don't tell you how much money they're spending in a month. The minimum in order to make any money at Young Living, this is pretty much every MLM, by the way, you have to spend in order to make. You have to either hit a certain sales amount, and it either has to snowball, meaning you have to sell more and more each time to maintain, or you have to hit like a base level of sales and purchases in a month in order to earn the right to earn a commission. Full stop. How many business owners are limited by how much they make? They're only limited by how much income is coming into their business. That's it. They can cut themselves a check if they want. They can decide not to if they want, but they're not told they can't earn a check unless they spend a certain amount. No one tells them what to do. Okay? So in order to even earn the right to that commission check for your work, you have to spend a certain amount of money in order to even have the right to that check. So that's a little like, and they tell you it's a business expense. No. Paying for electricity is a business expense. Buying products you don't need is not. I've never heard of traditional sales associates needing to garage or front end or buy product in order to earn commission. Normally they just earn based on what they sell, and the company and they and the company keep a close tab on those sales. Here's what I sold, here's how I discounted it, here's how I didn't discount it, whatever. But they're not forced to buy a certain amount every time they need to sell something. And whatever doesn't sell, the company is insured, because a sales associate's job is to sell it. If it doesn't sell and it's out of style, the company takes care of it. That's what a sales associate does. MLMs, you're stuck with it. They have a return policy, but if you read the fine print on a lot of their return policies, it has to be returned within 90 days and unopened. If you've been sitting on your products trying to make your money for a year, they're not going to take your product back. Maybe some companies are more generous and will, without question. Most won't. So read your policies and procedures. Business owners make the policies and procedures. They don't make you sign them. You don't sign them if you're a business owner. You can sign a contract with a manufacturer, but you're not signing a policy and procedure if you're a business owner. You're writing the policy and procedure. You burn bridges. This is a hard one. Now, I have nothing against my friends in MLM, and in fact, I support you. You know I do, because when you need to get that rank, I'll pay retail, whatever. I'll do it. If I have the money and I want the product, I'll pay it retail if I have to. And I've done it twice, and I'll do it again because I love some of the products. But I'm not going to be a business owner, and you have to be careful. What does it say? Oh, one of the habits that I've seen in my business owner groups for the MLMs is that, don't waste time with people. They're naysayers. Forget about them. Erase them from your life. Don't be friends with them. Ignore them. Don't waste time with that person. They ask too many questions. They are too negative. They do these videos. Things like that. And then you're cutting off a friendship, a genuine friendship, or whatever it is, because they're not going to buy your product or they're not going to buy your opportunity. That's a little shallow. I know that network marketing, like some people in network marketing call it relationship building or relationship marketing. Don't do that. Full stop. Don't do that. If you are making a relationship with someone, so you can sell them the opportunity or get them the product, then you're being dishonest. It's not a real relationship. It's a predatory relationship. You're using them to get something out of them. If you really genuinely think the product will help, let them have a sample or try it or whatever, and then leave it at that, you know? And then if they come to you and say, I want more of this, you can then pitch them how to sign up, but don't build a relationship with them just so you can get them to sign up. I've seen them do it. I've been on the receiving end of it. I don't like it. No one else likes it either. Okay, another problem is, this is my favorite, but all those wonderful leaders who are like, here's what you need to do. Here's how you get excited. You need to do this, you need to do that. How are they making their, like, I did it. They're making their money. Sure, they have, you know, a downline, and they built it over the last 10 years, but they're making their money selling you their methods or their recipes. So let's take a couple examples, because I know a few names off the top of my head. Eric Worre. He's a huge proponent of network marketing. What does he do? He teaches you how to be a network marketer. That's how he makes his money, not through an MLM, but through teaching you how to do MLM. Melissa Pepping, she made her money early on writing her 3 books that I love. I have her recipe books, I use them. She made her money doing that. Maybe not a lot, but enough, right? Because those books are what, $10, $15 a piece? And, you know, there's a set of 3. And now she has a perfume book out. She coaches, so she makes money off of paid coaching calls. Then there's Sarah Harnish. She wrote a book that's a bestseller on Amazon that I have and that I like, called Game Plan, which is really a good idea no matter what you're doing to have that game plan. And you could take a lot of the principles in her book and apply it to non-MLM. You know, good business practice is good business practice, whether you're an MLMer or not. But she's making her money selling that book. Doug Corrigan, Dr. Doug Corrigan, is using his knowledge of biochemistry to sell essential oil information. Lindsay Elmore, she is a brand ambassador. She talks about her why as if she were in a distributor chain, but she is a brand ambassador. Okay, she's teaches about how to use the product holistically through your whole life, not just the oils, but all the supplements. So she teaches about that. That's how they make their money. Other examples of MLMers, God rest his soul, Mr. Adamo. He wrote a book on the colors. So if you ever hear people talking about how, like, I call myself a green, they talk about their color personality. It's because he wrote a book on how people are like 4 colors, and each color represents like a certain aptitude. I'm a researcher. It's what I do for a living. I prefer like systematic analysis. That's just how I roll. Other people are more like headstrong. They're more leaders. Other people are kind of like all over the place. You know, they're bubbly, they're friendly, they just go and talk to people. And other people are more shy. They're people pleasers. So he has a book on that. He wrote his book on that. Richard Brooke Bliss, is it Richard Bliss Brooke or Richard Brooke, wrote a book on how to network market. Again, he wrote a book on how and what to do and how it replicates. And by the way, he wrote it about its pyramid scheme, but without saying it. Like, if you sign up 1 person and they sign up 4 people, whatever. Anyway, he wrote a book on that, which I also have. And he owned his own MLM, which Young Living bought out. Okay, and now he's a diamond level distributor. So a lot of these people are making money selling their books about how to be a network marketer. And others, like Deborah Rayburn, Richard Brooke, and Marsha Von Harding, are people in Young Living, at least, who are diamond or higher level distributors who have personal relationships and contractual relationships with the owners of the company. So it's not like they're making their money hitting the ground running. They have a relationship. I think Marcia von Harding was like close friends, and Deborah Rayburn, they were like close friends of Gary and Mary Young. So, and they've known them for a long, long time. So it's not hard to see them as Royal Crown Diamond. And by the way, Mrs. Rayburn wrote a book called Road to Royal, a book on how to become a Royal Crown Diamond. How about that? Richard Brooke was signed up, his organization is signed up under Adam Green, who's either Crown or Royal Crown at this point. But Richard Brooke is now a diamond. He was a diamond 1 month after starting with Young Living, after Young Living bought out his company. So you have to watch out for those relationships, because a lot of those people who are writing these books about how to be successful are writing books about how to be successful. And they're getting the attention. So what's happening is, so they might be making a lot of money as an MLMer in the MLM because they're getting attention to themselves, right? They're writing these books. They're writing these self-help books. They're writing these how-tos, and it's getting them attention. Sarah Harnish went diamond not long after her book was published and successful on Amazon. I say congrats to her because she wrote a bestseller on Amazon and because she leveled up. But, you know, they're figuring out the system, and they're figuring out how to get people to them. So people are going to sign up under them or under the people under them, and that's how their organizations are going to grow. Or they're going to talk to you straight up about the mathematics of network marketing and how you build your pyramid by taking 5 people, going this way, and placing them under. Who was it? Lindsay Teagan? Oh my God, am I even saying the right name? She talks about how she built her network sideways, 6 people who were directly under her, and then how she places everybody else under the appropriate distributor. Systematically built to Royal Crown Diamond doing that, which is genius, right? But it's a method to her madness. And I think she wrote a book. Yes, she did. She wrote in How to Be Successful in Social Media book. Like, she propounds the principle of 90 to 10. 90% is your life, 10% your business or your network marketing company. Again, genius, right? But it's one of the ways she's making her money is through her writing. I say, if you can be successful at it, doing it, go for it. But just know, you might not be successful. If you look at any income disclosure statement for any company, the majority of active distributors is like 80% making $12 a month. I think the latest Young Living disclosure statement is $12 to $15 a month on average. That means there's some making higher, some making lower, and they even tell you what the numbers are: the highest, the lowest, the average, and then the that's a net loss. That means the majority of people are spending $1,200 a year, because remember, in Young Living particularly, some companies it's $150, some it's more, some it's less, but in Young Living you have to spend $100 PV on essential rewards in order to qualify for level commissions. Sorry, that felt weird. And anyway, you have to spend that. That's $1,200 a year to make $15 a month on average. Not good odds. Not the end all be all, but not good odds. You can make more, but mathematically, based on the way that it's leveled, the highest paid people are less than 0.1% of the company of active distributors. If you count inactive distributors, meaning people who are not building, this is what they also say, only 8% of Young Living is active distributors. So that's an even tinier percent. So if active distributors 8% and 87% out of that 8% is only making $15 on average a month, that means it's like a net loss of like 99% of people are making nothing. Probably because most people don't want to. They just want to have their essential rewards. Go for it. If you want to sign up for a network marketing company just so you can buy the product at the wholesale price, I guess you could do it. Just be sure to know that when you sign up, you are signing up as a distributor. They make you sign the policies and procedures unless they have you go to, unless like with Arbonne, you get the preferred client status and it's like $15 a year and you get 20% off every purchase and there's no obligation to buy on a monthly basis. You can't get the 35% as a consultant, but you still get 20% off, which is not bad. So you can be, or you can sign up with Avon and not do any type of sign up and pay retail and still pay the same you would whether you're buying it at Maybelline price or Avon. It's like they're the same prices. Let's see. Don't make your friendships commodity. I think I talked about that. Don't burn bridges. Conventional lipstick. Doesn't taste very good. We talked about that. Disadvantage of income levels with time. I think I talked about that. You know, if your average is $15 a year, your net loss when you're spending $1,200 a year is not a good thing. Anyone can join. I know that sounds great, but it's not. Because business owners want to have a product that is going to bring people to them, okay? Unless there's a lot of demand for your product, like coffee shops, there's demand all over the heck for coffee shops. There are 2 Starbucks within like the same parking lot of each other. One on one end, that's a drive-through in my town, less than half a mile away. Drive-through Starbucks in the Target, and across the street on the other side is another coffee shop, and then like 2 restaurants that serve coffee. I mean, coffee is huge, and they're all making money because everybody wants their coffee, right? That makes sense for Starbucks to do that, to put it like a freaking coffee shop on almost every single corner within like, you know, a mile radius of each other, because people are going to go. People are going to go. This drive-through is popular. It's always packed. So if it makes sense to do that, like the customer base is huge and there's a lot of demand, then putting more than one shop in the same place makes sense. It's why malls with different clothing stores at different price points and multiple jewelry stores is a smart idea, because some people are going to want this jewelry and some people are going to want this jewelry. Some people want that skincare, some people want that skincare. Some people want this makeup and some people want that makeup. And some people just want to have these brands of clothing, right? So it's a grab bag of stuff. And that makes sense. What doesn't make sense is having a no demand product. So with the exception of Avon, people know Avon and love Avon. It's all over the movies and everything. But products like Arbonne, no one knows about unless they're a distributor. No one knows about Young Living unless they're a distributor, you know. People who don't know anything about essential oils are like, what is that, you know? So no name products that are suddenly getting an influx of sales agents are going to make nothing because there's no demand for it. So unless you create the demand, or you're satisfying a demand, or you're trying to create a demand, which is hard to do, you're not going to necessarily be successful. This is why many people have done the math. 99.9% of people lose money. There's an article on the FTC's website about the net loss that people suffer who sign up for MLMs. And most people hate MLMs. Like, I have good friends who roll their eyes at me, but also like when I'm talking to them about how, like, you know, I'm done with this and stuff like that, and they're like, yeah, that's one of the big problems with MLM. I have some people who are like, if I want the product, I'll buy it retail. I don't care about the shipping costs. If I want it, I'll buy it. And that's fine. But if they don't want it, they're not going to sign up for it. Okay? There's no investment. The other problem with that is companies not investing in you at all. You're investing in the company. So in traditional jobs, companies spend money looking for quality people to work for them. They will pay headhunters, otherwise known as recruiters. They will pay job application sites in order to, you know, get applicants that are qualified. they use these services, or they will put feelers out. If they don't have a lot of money, they'll invest their time instead of their money trying to find qualified people. Smaller businesses will mostly use cheaper, freer sites, and bigger businesses will use more professionals. But they invest their time and effort into finding quality people, right? So when you're an MLM, it's the people who are recruiting you, who are investing in you, so the salespeople, not the company. So in an MLM marketing company, the company spends no time on you, right? It's all the people who are signing you up who are investing their time to find you. It's not the company, and that's a problem, because that means the company is not invested in you. The company is going to make you sign a contract, and the company is going to make you sign that contract with the right to take it away. They'll be like, I've read some income disclosure statements from a couple of the companies, and one of the things, God, which company was it? I think it was Amway. One of the things they say is like, they'll take the organization away for whatever reason. That's not a business. That means they control your product, okay? So that's just some of the things I've found that is wrong with MLM. And I know it's not very popular, and I know this video's gone way too long, but that's just a few things I wanted to share. Anyway, I hope you liked it. If you have any feedback, leave it below. Comment, subscribe, like, and share. I am Carmen, and I will see you